we are loaded in finally, so we do have a game on our hands.
Yep, finally we are here. We have our PvP, our best of 5, our qualifying match in DreamHack North America Open Qualifier number 1. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have representing team licensed to kill the American Protoss, the Purple Protoss, the Rhizer.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, playing first Ice Storm in the green. Give it up for Jenasin.
Alright, and already I'm a little bit disappointed because the gateways are at home. They're at home.
I know, what's going on? Like, no proxy, cannon rush sort of shenanigans in the gateways as well. I mean, backers, don't these guys know that we cheese every series? What's going on?
God, we should probably message them when we're out of this game. We should be like, yo, didn't you get the memo? Like, we're all about cheese here.
Only cheese, no macro. It has to be something weird and obnoxious. As, you know, fairly normal start for both these players at the very least, is they're doing normal Protoss things. Although it's interesting to see that it is the normal Protoss things, because at least a while ago it was super trendy to go for like a fast expand and then just like try desperately to hold on to your much faster Nexus. I saw NCAN do that a lot, and so I'm curious if that will feature tonight, or if it's going to be the more normal 2-gate expand that we so often see.
Yeah. I mean, I do know that is typically very map specific. I know that players love doing that on Oxide, sometimes Romanticide as well, just because it's a little bit easier to defend your natural bases. But as you were saying, there are some players who just do it on any map. I know in Europe, MaxPax does that a lot. He's like confident in his own ability to defend, where he just expands quickly and like just focuses on defense and does things that way. It's a very bold move.
Yeah, it's definitely a style. As the builds are continuing to be mirrored, both players going for double stalker, no one playing a bit more defensively with an early sentry, or a bit more aggressively in the case of double adept, instead going for that nice middle of the road path.
Yeah, everything is looking pretty normal, pretty up and up here for the most part. Also, as we continue to get into this series, massive shout out to Pure Legacy, one of the invited players in the closed qualifier, for giving us a bit of a raid. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Pure Legacy, for the raid, as we do have a Stargate. That's a really interesting Stargate versus Twilight Council. I'm very curious how this is going to go down.
Interesting. So obviously the Twilight Council is a little bit more standard. We expect to see like Blink Stalker openings a lot in these kind of matchups. As we do see Jenasin already like pushing out across the map with his Stalkers. Interesting for Rhizer to go for that Stargate, as you were saying.
Yeah, the Stargate is not like the most common, but it's also not uncommon either. As he adapts, it looks like they will get scouted, but that does force Jenasin to change paths with his stalkers, and this does buy quite a bit of time for Jenasin, as these adepts, it looks like they might escape without too much damage.
Yeah, they just barely managed to escape, and now they're headed into the main base. Is there a probe ready? It looks like there just barely will be a probe in time to fully wall off.
Oh yeah, and that like those 25 minerals, it's nice to get them canceled, but he doesn't even cancel the shade. These adepts are here to stay. And here to maybe die, as one of them gets picked off, and there goes the other as well.
Oh, exactly. So not quite worth it there for Rhizer, but at least he was able to keep the Stalkers at home. He could kind of relieve all of that pressure. Meanwhile, that Oracle is looking to head into the main base, and again, Jenasin hasn't scouted the opener. He doesn't have anything ready for this.
Oh boy, that's 1, 2, and 3 probes going down so far. Very nice. It looks like he's going to be forced to get out, though, by the Stalkers after that 4th probe does go down. And 4 probes for, like a Stargate opener is, I feel like it's worth it. And with the Adepts continuing to harass, it's lovely to see Rhizer just trying to out-multitask Jenasin here.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying and he's kind of succeeding. Oh my god, the Oracle! Ooh, it takes a lot of damage, but just barely manages to escape. And mate, Rhizer just doesn't stop with the aggression. He has a proxy pylon. We have a Dark Shrine on the way.
What is going on? Blink is just barely starting, but it's the inferior Blink to DT Blink. As Blink for Jenasin's now completed, and Rhizer, he's definitely going for interesting strategies, if nothing else. But, ooh, losing that Oracle is no fun.
Yeah, it's a very nice pick off there for Jenasin. I'm literally concerned for Rhizer because, again, he has been taking up in, like, every single direction right now, and it does mean that overall, like, as you were pointing out, like, his Stalkers are going to be weaker, a lot of his army is going to be weaker, his economy is going to be a little bit worse. He's banking a lot on these DTs, and I don't know if it's going to pay for itself because Jenasin already has a Robo, and he's already working on detection.
Yeah, and very fast detection is gonna be a problem for these DTs unless he's going for something like super weird, like he's going for like DT Archon drops, but he doesn't have a robo for it. So I feel like he's just sort of gonna be making Dark Templar into someone who can see his Dark Templar, and so it's gonna be more about trying to like sneak past an army or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes here. Meanwhile, the Stalkers of Jenasin are moving out across the map. The Observer stays at home. Very important to point out, so he will have detection available to him. He doesn't have to recall or anything crazy like that. Meanwhile, oh my god, he just blinks straight into the main base.
Oh no, he blinks into the main base. He gets a lot of the units here from Rhizer. That's a significant hampering in production, but with these Stalkers, slowly blinking out. They also might deny another pylon. Oh no.
God, that's the third pylon in a row that he got. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, the DTs do hit across the map, but again, there is detection, there are Stalkers, and it gets cleaned up.
At 6 probes now. He's still trying to do what he can, but these Stalkers and the Observer, they do kind of see, no, you gotta put that on hold position, dude. As he might lose the gas if Jenasin isn't paying too close attention, but there's a fight on the other side of the map, so that does explain a bit where the attention has gone.
Yeah.
As these Stalkers, they are forced to blink out. Nice job, but like...
Oh my god. Something crazy that happened, by the way, in that engagement that I just realized, he sniped the Forge. The Forge of Rhizer got picked up. Oh my god.
And he doesn't have any upgrades, so it's going to be +1 versus +0, and upgrades in PvP are a big deal, as these Stalkers are fighting, but with an upgrade deficit and like no real shield batters or anything to try and make a difference, it's going to be a bit of a problem going forward.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Rhizer still has the opportunity to counterattack across the map whenever he can, but like, what about his main army? I'm just really concerned because that massive upgrade deficit that you were talking about.
Yeah, and upgrades, they're just barely starting +1 behind the +2 of Jenasin, so it's going to be quite a while before any sort of upgrade parity is achieved. As these Stalkers, he's trying to move out, and Rhizer's doing his best here, but is his best going to be good enough? And I'm not entirely sure, as you just pick off a couple of Stalkers and forces a recall, which is nice, but I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, I think it was very interesting of Jenasin to back off and expand from here. Obviously, his third base is a little bit faster compared to his opponent. Maybe he's not feeling confident and he wants to wait for +2, right? It would make sense if he wants to hit a timing with that. On top of that, I didn't think that we were going to get this far into the game, but we are going to be seeing some disruptors.
I love the disruptor switch. It's going to be like Stalker disruptor versus maybe like a charge slot, a mortal-based army, as he's getting a War Prism and charge on the way, and so it's going to be, he's even getting the the Templar Archives. That's the word. It took me a minute. High Templar for the Archon part of his Charge Lot Immortal Archon army.
Yeah, interestingly, switching into Charge Lot Archon here. It can work against Disruptors. Obviously, Charge Lots can kind of close the distance and dive on top of them, but it's also really risky as well because it's so difficult to split and avoid those Purification Novas.
Oh, for sure. And it's really gonna, I feel like, come down to the micro here, as these Stalkers, they are trying to even, they're gonna pick off the Robo. That's amazing. What a pick off.
Oh my god, the Robo does get picked off. Meanwhile, it looks like Jenasin wants to try and surround and catch all these Stalkers, but in moving all his Stalkers over towards the low ground, he does kind of weaken his main force. We do have a recall. Rhizer will escape, and that was a massive pick off.
That was absolutely huge. Ever Robotics banned one Disruptor, but one Disruptor is not going to be enough. It's close to being a scary amount of Disruptors, but closely counts in Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, as another more Robo is now finishing, so we do have more disruptors on the way, but that is a significant decrease in the disruptor count. That's going to be
Yeah.
lovely for Rhizer to see.
Exactly, and Rhizer's not done. He comes back in with a War Prism, avoids the Stalkers in the main base with his Zealots. His Zealots shouldn't deal too much damage, thankfully. Oh, sorry, his DTs even, because there is a cannon here, but oh my god, DTs don't even care, mate.
Oh, yeah, they're trying. Oh, it looks like he might lose the warp, maybe? Oh, he loses the War Prism, which is unlucky, but still a good amount of damage and time wasted by Jenasin as he has to deal with that.
God, that he does. Meanwhile, because he did scout the tech, he was able to see everything in the main base. He throws down his own robotic spade. He's going to try and catch up when it comes to the disruptors. But again, there's a massive timing here. There's a timing where Jenasin, he's up in upgrades, he's up in tech, he is up in army as well. He's going out across the map, and Rhizer just needs to survive.
And survive he will try to do, but with no disruptors really to speak of, and not an amazing army. He's going to really rely on this one immortal to buy him the time. And it's an interesting to see the tech switch. I'm curious if why he was so late with Dark Templar. They have done some damage, but like he's just like, what? What just happened?
He doesn't have detection, so he used the disruptor to kill the DT.
Okay.
Oh god, what? Yeah, he's forced all the way back home. He has to remake the Observer. I didn't realize, but apparently the Observer was sniped earlier. Oh my god.
Well, that's really well done by Rhizer in that case. And all of the DT lives, love to see it. Picking off observers is always somewhat challenging, but he has 2 now, and so with those 2 observers, he'll hopefully be okay. But that is a lot of stalkers compared to the somewhat smaller army by Rhizer.
It is, and as the game goes on, I feel like it's getting a little bit worse here for Rhizer. Sorry, for Jenasin, I meant. Meanwhile, Jenasin, he's completely out of position. Once again, Rhizer blinks up into the main base, and he's going to be able to snipe the Cybercore.
Oh, that's huge. He gets a Cybercore, and it looks like he's also going to get out. As a nice blink, and the blink forward gets an observer, but nothing else. And now Rhizer, he's going for those disruptors himself, and +3 is started for Jenasin, but with +2 being done and +3 being startable for Rhizer, I feel like it's not insane to say that the upgrades have evened up, and always getting DT blink. What?
Let's go. I mean, the DTs have been paying for themselves so well here for Rhizer this game, so might as well reinvest into them and make them even more effective. I'm really concerned here. Like, Jenasin, I feel like the game is slipping away from him. Like, he's got to make something happen here. Like, the disruptors aren't quite ready for Rhizer.
Yeah, and like he does have a scary-ish army at this point, but with equal upgrades and he's starting +3 on his own, it looks like Rhizer is just in a better spot. He has that higher probe count. He has that slightly more well-rounded army with the Immortal snuck in there, and it's going to come down to a micro fight, but...
Speaking of micro... 2 disruptors just got picked off. Rhizer just lost them. Again, Jenasin still has the advantage with these disruptors. It's all about whether he can land those Purification Novas.
Oh, really well done. He blinks forward. He does get the cannon, and he's just like continuing to buy time here. The flanking disruptor blinks out of it, but loses the Immortal, but that's okay. Most of the stalkers get out.
Yeah, and again, behind this, we have 4 or 5 more disruptors. Like, again, it's insane here for Jenasin. He really needs to make something happen with them. Meanwhile, Rhizer, he's being very patient with his DTs. He has a War Prism as well, but it looks like Jenasin, he catches the War Prism.
Oh no, that War Prism being discovered is definitely not ideal. However, there are more pressing matters for Rhizer, as he doesn't really have that great of an army. He has like some more disruptors, but I don't feel like 4 disruptors is going to be enough, considering his opponent is on... well, he's only on 5. I thought he was a bit higher, but it's going to be a tough fight.
Oh god, exactly. Meanwhile, we do see the blink on forward. He does dive on top of the disruptors. The disruptor shots are going off from Rhizer, and it looks like they just barely connect a little bit there, and now it's just Stalker versus Stalker.
Yeah, there's Stalker versus Stalker. The he's trying to run is Rhizer, but with gets 1 Stalker, but 1 Stalker is not going to be enough. It looks like this 3rd base might go down as more disruptors are on the way, or that's 4th base, excuse me. But he does have that 3rd base to fall back to, and so with the fact that he's up a base here really helps. And he even gets another disruptor. Love to see it.
That he does. Meanwhile, no, the War Prism finally gets picked off there. Now Jenasin doesn't have anything to worry about. He's just... No! Rhizer wasn't paying attention. A massive disruptor shot.
Rhizer, no! Rhizer, you were in such a good position, and then suddenly you just lose your whole army. He's running out of disruptors as well. He's only down to one. He needs the disruptor hit of his life here as... Oh, that's so unfortunate.
I think...
You hate to see it like that.
Man, I think that was the game-winning move. I think that's it. Rhizer, he just lost 3 disruptors for free. He loses the robo as well. Blink Stalkers are coming in. There is 1 disruptor ready, waiting to flank, so maybe he can hold on with that. Ugh.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it. There are DTs on the other side of the map. They're wrecking havoc, but, like, are the DTs really going to be enough? Maybe a DT on the offensively? Or defensively? That was a juicy hit, though. You gotta love that hit.
Oh my god, that was an insane hit. We see another warp in of Stalkers. Rhizer can afford to lose this space because he just killed the 3rd base of Jenasin. Things are getting crazy, things are getting chaotic, and this could still kind of go either way.
Yeah, but we might lose another disruptor, and I don't feel like he has any more robotics. Oh, he has at least 1 robotics facility, because he got that disruptor. But is his robotics bait dead? Like,
oh my god,
he doesn't have a robotic space. We can't make more disruptors, and so he's a bit stuck with the 1. And if he loses it, that's it, and he lost it. So pure stalker from here on out.
Exactly. Pure Stalker versus Stalker Disruptor here as we still have 1 remaining for Jenasin. Rhizer, he's trying to push in, he's trying to break on forward, but it looks like there's just too much here. There's too much green Protoss in the natural, and it looks like Jenasin may just barely take the game.
Yeah, it looks like it. He even has an observer here in case his opponent tries something cheeky with a DTs, but no cheekiness here. Instead, opting for pure Stalker. He needs damage, but it's I feel like the bases that he does have are a bit better, considering he has a bit more money in that 3rd base than say Jenasin does. But with the fight going down, oh, he might win the fight. He does get the disruptor, which is nice, but it's a lot of Stalkers.
It is a lot of Stalkers here from Jenasin, and he's still breaking through. It looks like he wants to break into finally the main base. Meanwhile, we still have DTs being warped in for Rhizer. Oh, not defensively, though. I thought maybe maybe they were going to be warped in defensively. No, they're not. I guess there is detection here for Jenasin anyway.
Rhizer, he's just losing so much of his production here. Like, I'm not sure if he'll be able to really deal with it, considering he's on 3 gateways, and that is a very scary army. And he's going to be on no gateways here in a sec, as the single DT and a couple of Stalkers, I feel like are not going to deal with all these Stalkers and their detection. Unfortunately, and with more disruptors, more units. Oof.
Even gets the DT there. Exactly. The problem is that Jenasin, his production has been unhindered. He may not be mining as much as Rhizer, but regardless, he is mining. He can continue to produce. He has been continuing to macro, and Rhizer has been stuck with the same army for a very long time now, and GG gets called.
Poor Rhizer, but what a game number 1. What a way to start the series. To see where it goes from here, though, as that was a very fun game. I really enjoyed it. The DTs were an interesting choice, to say the least.
That was wild. That was
It was wild, it was wacky, it was definitely NA PvP. But let's see where it goes next. I'm very curious what the map choice will be for game number 2.
I'm curious as well. I think what's important is that that game really could have gone either way. Like, Rhizer, he was making a lot of really nice moves. He was sniping a lot of tech. His blinks were great. His DT harass was great as well. Even the Oracle harass in the very beginning of the game. Like, he was accomplishing a lot. But it did feel like overall, like, his main army was lacking in comparison. You could argue that maybe it was okay, but it did feel like it did really swing in Jenasin's favor when he was able to catch all those disruptors in the middle of the map. I think there were like 3
for
disruptors.
Sure. Like Rhizer, I feel like he was in a good spot. He had like maybe come back from a bit of a more wild game to be in a good position, and then just losing 3 whole disruptors for absolutely nothing is so painful to watch. It's
it's just really rough for that to happen. You look away for one moment, and then that's just it. And then suddenly, like, your opponent has a massive advantage in a mirror match as well. Like, it's so difficult to come back from that.
Yeah, especially in that mirror match. As a bit of memeing about a race switch partway through the series goes on in the chat, but it looks like it's going to be a PvP continuing going forward, as that was such a close match. I feel like why would you want to switch things up?
Exactly. Exactly. Why would you take that from us? We need more PvP.
Exactly. It's like I feel like not enough PvP happens. We need more of it.
Mm, mm. Oh god, and we'll see how things turn out here as we are loading into game number 2. And it is going to be on one of the more larger, one of the more macro maps.
Yes, it is. As we load in on Romanticide LE, of course, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner in the purple, playing Protoss, representing LTK. Give it up for Rhizer.
And spawning in the top left, the change of colors really threw me off. We do not have the green. We have the red Protoss player representing Storm Gaming. It is Jenasin.
These players look like they're doing fairly normal things, such as build a gateway, expand, build gas. They're probably going to build a second gas and another gateway and a cyber core and build probably 2 stalkers, I'd be willing to bet. But, we'll see. Maybe someone will mix things up as things continue normally for at least a little bit.
Yeah, we do see a probe moving out on the map for Rhizer, so maybe he's looking to do something cheeky here. Is he just gonna throw down a pylon just to have his second pylon out on the map, or is he looking to proxy something?
Oh yeah, it's not quite the stock standard having a proxy pylon, but it's an interesting decision because your opponent will know that you don't have that second pylon in your main base because they can just time it against their own second pylon. And so when you do build it, it's very much an interesting mind game. Like, oh, are they doing a proxy Stargate? Because we did go Stargate in game 1, keep in mind. Or is it like some really weird fast DT tech? Or is it just like a super massive big brain mind game? And I'm overthinking it. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it is a pretty nice position for a Stargate. He could just go wild and throw down like a Twilight Council with a Dark Shrine. That would be insane. But he's just waiting for the Cyber Core, and we will see what he decides to proxy.
Oh, and it looks like it is going to be that Stargate. So it worked so well in game 1. Might as well build it closer in game number 2, as we do see continuing mining and stalkers versus adepts being built, and so the adepts, they're a bit more of an aggressive choice than the stalkers. So we do have to keep that in mind, that the adepts combined with the oracle might do a lot of damage. We'll have to wait and see.
They may. Meanwhile, Jenasin is scouting around the map for something crazy going on, looking for a proxy. I think he did see that the pylon was missing in the main base, so he knows something is wrong, something is amiss, and looking at his rally, he is poised to find that Stargate.
Once he pulls away now, it looks like it's gonna get caught, and what?
He was distracted by the adepts.
Oh no, the adepts! Perfect timing for those adepts too, as he does nearly pick off one of them. It looks like he might barely. Oh no, dodges it. But with that second pair of stalkers, that one adept is certainly to fall soon. And one adept isn't as good as 2. However, an adept and an oracle can do quite a bit of damage, as that adept does escape, and the oracle still goes undetected. He doesn't know this is coming.
Oh, he does not. Meanwhile, we do have Jenasin, being a little bit annoying, delaying the natural base, but in comes the oracle into the main.
He does. He gets a couple of probes, and he looks to be getting out, as that is a lot of stalkers, but you got to get out of there, kid. That oracle is and successfully gets out, but not before 5 probes go down, which is really lovely to see. And Blink is now on the way for Jenasin.
Oh, that it is. And what's important is that this was scouted. At least with that Oracle, he doesn't just get the probe kills, he also scouts the tech, he confirms the Twilight Council, so he's well aware of what is coming his way. And to prepare, Rhizer throws down some shield batteries. He knows that he's going to have some weaker stalkers in comparison, so he needs something extra to help keep him alive at home, as his own Blink is going to be much later.
Yes, exactly. And once again, we do see Jenasin going for that Robo. follow up, and I'm very curious if it's going to be DTs again from Rhizer, or if he's going to mix it up and go maybe into a faster charge, a little more Larcon, or if he'll just commit to Stalker Disruptor, just like his opponent did in the last game.
We will see. Meanwhile, oh, the Oracle pathing a little bit questionable through the middle of the entire base. Does take a lot of damage, but again, some more scouting. He confirms the Robo is on the way for his opponent. Meanwhile, as a response to that, Rhizer is actually opting to throw down a Forge.
Well, that's interesting. He might be going for just like faster +2, because the +2 changes the math on the Stalker shots significantly, if I remember right, or it might have been the Immortal shots. But it changes the math quite a bit for your for your fights, and so if you have that +2, you have a significant advantage compared to someone who doesn't have +2. And so, and with this fake Oracle Scout, I love to see this.
Yeah, exactly. It does tank a couple of shots here, as we do see another revelation. Again, just confirming that everything is at home. He doesn't confirm the third gateway, but okay, now he will see it, so he's aware that, okay, there's going to be a little bit of extra production here. We still don't really know if we're going to have a Robo coming out from Jenasin. Sorry, Robo, what? I meant War Prism coming out for Jenasin, as Rhizer is keeping an eye on that third. Oh, even delaying the third. Oh my god.
I love to see that. It's such a fun thing to do when you have that Oracle. It's just like, I'll put a little stasis trap here.
Yeah.
Stall things out for a bit, make it a fun time, as that Oracle looks like it's going to dive in and maybe get a stasis trap, or it might just hang out and do some scouting.
We'll see. It's waiting. It's biding its time. Meanwhile, because of the stasis trap, Rhizer does have a much faster third base in comparison to Jenasin. Finally, the War Prism is on the way. Not just the Robo. God, I keep saying Robo. Not just the War Prism, but also 3 gateways.
Yeah, I'll love to see that Robo making the Warp Prism along with those gateways, and 2 Stalkers we get warped in, but this Oracle, it looks like it'll probably get out. Takes a little bit of hold damage, down to 22 health, which isn't a lot, but it is enough. As that Warp Prism is taking the Stalkers across the map, and the third base is just forever delayed. I feel like you need more shield batteries here. Maybe another pylon on the other side of that Nexus, but there's something, but...
I think what's important is that Rhizer, he confirms that there is no third base. He confirms the massive, like, push, quote-unquote, all-in coming from Jenasin, with a lot of Stalkers, a lot of gateways behind this. We do have some shield batteries here. Is it going to be enough? It is a little bit worse than there's only one pylon powering all of this.
But there's a cannon as well to help out, do some damage. The cannon isn't firing, and fighting away from the shield batteries is interesting. But with +1 nearly completed here, I feel like Rhizer has like a good chance to just go and crush this army here.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way for Jenasin to break this. Like with force fields and shield battery and overcharge and cannons, like I don't know, and you're at an upgrade deficit as well. Like, this is a questionable move here from Jenasin, and Rhizer, he reconfirms that there was no third.
Yeah, and so this all in is just getting more all in here, as there's a pylon here to do a bit of early scouting. But do you really need the pylon? You've got +1, +2 on the way, and you're just building more and more ideal army as you got charge, your own robotic facility, and you finally see that third base go down. But at this point, like, so late, it makes me nervous.
Yeah, like, look at the workers. It's crazy. Like, Rhizer is so far ahead right now. The only thing going Jenasin's way that we can see is that he is going straight into disruptors, so he will have them much faster, and they are a way for him to try and close that gap.
Yeah, and so the disruptors, I feel like, are going to be how Jenasin comes back into this game, because he is definitely behind. And with Rhizer building a much more traditional charge slot based army, it's going to be an interesting decision to see like the micro of the charge slots versus the landing of the disruptor shots. And so we'll have to see exactly where the chips fall, as I feel like Rhizer should know it's disruptors at this point, because he's done a good amount of scouting. But yeah, I'm not sure if he's like gonna continue going charge slot. Like, what's the plan here?
I think the problem for Jenasin is that he's pushing out. He was waiting for his War Prism, it finally came out, and now he can be the aggressor. +2 is about to finish by the time he gets across the map. Disruptors will not be completed for this attack, like maybe 1 disruptor, if that, and that may not be enough to hold on.
And that is a lot of units here out of Rhizer. He just has like a decent 12 army size advantage for now, but it's only going to get bigger as we do have this army is starting its fight. And oh, those are some pretty good force fields too. Oh no, the third
Yeah.
base is forfeit.
Exactly. Feels bad, man. And really, that's all Rhizer needs. If he wanted, he could try and end the game right now, but getting the third base is good enough.
Yeah, that third base is excellent. But one thing that does concern me is if you give your opponent enough time, eventually the disruptors might be able to do something. But again, it's a big might, and I don't know about that one. As the first disruptor goes off, doesn't land anything just yet. But there's a second one, so.
Yeah, there's... Oh, we have a blink forward. They don't
Oh.
have a blink to avoid the disruptor, but... Oh, it does miss.
It's a little bit slow on that reaction with the disruptor. These stalkers are here. They blink forward once again, but unfortunately the disruptor just isn't there anymore. It died. And one robo goes down. The second robo is not going to build the disruptor in time. And GG, Rhizer takes game number 2.
GG, Rhizer ties up the series, which with a very soul to play there on Romanticide.
Yeah, really well done. Unfortunately, it is time for me to dip out. I'm like very sorry to be leaving you like this. However, I do have to go. But on Thursday, I believe we have qualifier number 2 that I can be here for the whole time for. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, mLty, for joining me for as long as you could. I really appreciate it. It was really fun casting with you again after such a long time.
Yeah, no, it's we should do this more often. I'll try and make more time for all of the events that we have going on. But it was lovely to see you guys. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm mLty. You can find me on Twitter. But just stay here and continue watching this amazing qualifying match for me while I get to get going. So yes, have a good one, all of you, and good luck with the rest of your cast, Light.
Yes, thank you. All good. Again, everyone, be sure to follow mLty over on Twitter. You can see him there, mLty SC on Twitter. He does stream occasionally as well on his own Twitch channel sometimes. But yeah, give him much love.
Yes. Anyways, have a good one. That'll be it from me. Love you all. Have a good night.
Ciao. Thank you so much. And from here on out, I will be solo casting. Unfortunately, last season, Darking was here to join me, but he is working full-time nowadays. So, unfortunately, oh boy, it looks like I will be all alone for the remainder of the games. Thankfully, there aren't that many games left. We do have this best of 5, and I think this may be our final series casting. Just because all the other matches are catching up, and there is no lower bracket. It's not double limbs, so... Once you're out, you're out. And yeah, we are just... Oh, there we go. We're just getting ready to dive into game numero 3. Game number 3. There we go. It looks like it's going to be on Lightshade for this PvP. Feels bad, man. I have to solo cast the PvP as a Zerg player. Oh, ay. Oh, God. Yes. Hopefully. Oh, God. Just letting the players know that I'm down a caster now. Just letting them know that we are good to go. So now I will be joined by the chat. I will need the chat to give me some energy right now. Massive shout out to, I just noticed Vindicta dropped by as well. Massive shout out to Vindicta, of course, he is invited later on into the, I believe, closed qualifier, maybe even the group stage. So yeah, Vindicta, of course, he's going to be casted or featured later on in DreamHack. He doesn't have to go through the open qualifiers. He's just that goddamn good. Just like pure legacy. Meanwhile, the players just letting us know that they need a little bit of time, which is understandable. Like, it's been a pretty intense series so far after game number 1 and game number 2, so they need a moment to get some water, take a breather, get some rest before they dive back into the series. Oh, as I just show it then and there. Beautiful. Meanwhile, this is so far the second DreamHack qualifier that we are casting. Last night we casted the Taiwan-Hong Kong qualifier, and this is the first of 2 qualifiers that we are casting today. For those wondering, every single day for the next week, we are going to be casting at least 2 tournaments, sometimes 3. Just qualifier after qualifier after qualifier. It's all going to be here on the CranKy Ducklings. Later on today, in I think 10 hours, we are going to be casting DreamHack qualifier number 1 for China. I'm going to be casting that alongside Yaku. And then tomorrow, in less than 24 hours, we're going to be casting the DreamHack Latin American qualifier, and then the Taiwan Hong Kong qualifier, and then NA again, and then Oceania. Like, we just keep on going. And then this weekend are the closed qualifiers, and it's all going to be covered here on the CranKy Ducklings. So if you enjoy our casting, if you like our kind of vibe that we have here on this channel, then consider hitting the follow button. We're live. We're going to be live every single day this week, multiple times a day. And outside of the DreamHack qualifiers, we have many normal weekly tournaments that we cast, like Battle of the Americas, Sentimiento Latino, Grand Platypus Open. We cover a lot of weekly tournaments for all these various regions, you know, from North America to Latin America to Oceania and Southeast Asia, as well as Korea. We also cast ESL Open Cup Asia, and sometimes Americas as well. So plenty of StarCraft to have here on this channel. As we are diving into game number 3. Oh boy. Jenasin just letting us know that he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. Oh no, Jenasin, please. He's falling apart a little bit. Give him your energy, folks. Oh, I also forgot. How could I forget? We'll do it next time. I just realized that I didn't open up the predictions for this qualifier match. Feels bad, man. But here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lightshade LE. We have the American Protoss player. He is purple, representing Team License to Kill. It is Rhizer. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Canadian... the Canadian Protoss player representing Team Psy Storm Gaming. It is Jenasin. Hold on, let me quickly double check that. Let me. God, it's not on Wikipedia. No, yeah, Canadian. Yeah. We know. Oh boy. So hopefully Jenasin is feeling okay. He was. Again, he needed a break earlier to like kind of recoup himself and recenter and refocus a little bit. So hopefully he's okay. Like, he had a pretty strong showing. Like, to be fair, game 1 was very chaotic. To be fair, to give him credit. But hopefully he can bring this back. As Rhizer once again is sending a probe towards the northern side of the map. This one, though, it looks like he is scouting for a proxy to make sure nothing crazy is going on. Meanwhile, Jenasin is just scouting his opponents, also being sure that everything is okay. And this is something that we were talking about in the previous game with that pylon, is that here Rhizer, he does throw down a pylon outside of his main. The purpose of this, one, to scout, I guess it's a spotter pylon in a way, but also it does kind of throw his opponent off, like, hey, where is your second pylon? It should be here at home. Something is feeling a little bit off, and it may cause Jenasin to, again, kind of panic a little bit, or at least in the back of his mind, just, you know, fear the possibility of a proxy star game, like we saw in the previous game. So a little bit of mind games coming out from Rhizer, which works double, like even more so, just because previous game there was a proxy, right? So yeah, some nice moves coming out from Rhizer so far. But other than that, nothing really of note. We do see the first form of tech thrown down for Jenasin, going for that Twilight Council. This does seem to be his preferred opening. We have seen him go for it game after game after game, going for that Twilight Council first for that faster blink timing. boy, as this, we were talking about the proxy before, as Jenasin is scouring the map for a proxy, looking for that pylon. Oh. Looking everywhere he can. And we see both players take their bases. No one is going for any kind of crazy one-base shenanigans. We can see that Rhizer did open up a little bit safer here. Obviously, Jenasin making nothing but stalkers. It is, I guess, kind of defensive, right, in case there were depths coming across the map again. Meanwhile, Rhizer opting to go for sentries. With these sentries, we've seen, honestly, his scouting has been almost impeccable. Even the last game where he was relying on his hallucinated scouts and his oracle, he was just on top of everything. He saw everything from Jenasin. It was crazy. And it looks like we're going to be seeing more of that here in Game 3. As the Haluk is going across the map. With this, he's going to confirm the gateway count, confirm the Twilight Council opening as well, which I don't think he's seen yet, as well as the Robo, so he should have eyes on everything, even the timing of the natural base. Also confirming that there is a natural. As he gets in, and ooh, he does get taken out before he gets into the main, and he doesn't see the Twilight Council or the Robo. I mean, you can make some assumptions. If there was a Stargate opener, there would already be an Oracle out on the map. it would already be there. If there was, we do see Rhizer has prepared in his main base for an Oracle with the shield battery. He even has a couple of Stalkers here. So again, because he never really scouted, he was just preparing for the worst. And he's prepared. And the worst isn't there. So it's all good. It's all good. Why the CranKy Ducklings? Funada ARJ Skater in the chat. God damn it, ARJ. Shaking my head. Meanwhile, we do see 2 more gateways thrown down. Very interesting here. Finally, they're getting thrown down here for Jenasin. Rhizer prioritizing them a little bit more. Makes sense because, again, Blink is about to finish up. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a War Prism next for Jenasin so he can go across the map, utilize his Blink Stalkers, and eventually that +1. Eventually. We'll get there. We'll get there. As Rhizer, he's attempting to catch up when it comes to those blinks, when it comes to those blink stalkers. I'm a little bit concerned that Jenasin is being a little bit too passive here, and like the window where he has this advantage is going to slowly close. There we go, with the follow-up scout, Rhizer finally confirms, you know, +1 is on the way. Rhizer is going to be down in upgrades, but he's going to be up in army, because my god, that is 4 gateways finishing up for him. Jesus Christ. Oh, so in total, Rhizer is going to have 6 in total. Jesus Christ. That's going to be a lot of gateways. And there is that War Prism. Rhizer, he just wants to go, mate. He doesn't care about your +1. He doesn't care about your upgrades. He just wants Blink, and he's just going to push out with his Stalkers, with his Immortals, with his massive army. Meanwhile, Jenasin is trying to cut some corners here. What I mean by that is that we have a Robotics Bay on the way. He wants to get into Disruptors. Mate, the game may not last long enough because Rhizer is pushing out on the map and Jenasin hasn't seen this. He goes across the map with his Aluk. He's going to see all the gateways. This is a massive tell, by the way, but he doesn't see the main army. He doesn't know how much danger he's in. There we go. He throws down the shield battery. He realizes, oh my god, that's a lot of gateways. That's more than I have. We got it. We got to hold on. We are going to have at least 1 shield battery. We're going to have some overcharge. Is it going to be enough? There's just so much firepower here. I don't think he does have enough. As here we go, Rhizer pushes on forward. We do have the overcharge. So far, so good for Jenasin. He pushes back the army. The problem is that eventually this is going to run out. And with these Immortals, like, Rhizer can just bust on through. Oh, he just needs to wait a little bit longer. The Disruptor is on the way. It's about to finish up. In come the Stalkers, there we go. He has to pull the boys. He desperately has to try and hold on. What's crazy, by the way, is that Rhizer is expanding behind this. He's taking a 3rd base. Meanwhile, here comes the Disruptor. Show us the Purification Nova. Show us! Jenasin, please! Oh, it misses. We did have a Blink to avoid the shot. And this is what I mean. We do have a base behind this. So, because some boys are being pulled and workers are falling, Rhizer can just back off and he'll still be fine. He doesn't have to straight up end the game here, but he may anyway. As 20 probes fall, now so will all the Stalkers. Sure, Jenasin has a +1 advantage, but it doesn't even matter. We have a Blink forward on top of the Disruptor. It gets focused down, and now there is nothing left here. I guess one more disruptor pops out and maybe Jenasin can hold his main, but it's not good enough. GG gets called. And Rhizer takes a lead in this series. Damn. Very solid play there. Unfortunately, Jenasin, he scouted those gateways, but a little bit late. By the time he saw what was coming his way, the army was already more than halfway across the map. It was already knocking on his front door. So because of that, like, he was trying to throw down more shield batteries, but it was a little bit too late. On top of that, he was also being a little bit greedy. Again, trying to tech up all the way into disruptors. And disruptors are good, but they do struggle against blink stalkers. Again, you know, as long as the stalkers preserve their blink to avoid that disruptor shot, disruptors don't do much other than zone. At least in that scenario. Oh boy. So, well done there by Rhizer. He hasn't won the series yet. A reminder, this is a best of 5, not a best of 3. So, we do still have at least one more game. At least one. There we go. And we'll see where this series will take us as the players just setting up their next lobby. Meanwhile, oh, just got invited. There we go. It's gonna be on Oxide. And we are going to be diving on in. Meanwhile, exclamation mark B in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket. And there are a couple of other qualifying matches ready. Let me just quickly see here. I believe every single other match going on right now is a qualifying match. In the upper half of the bracket, we have Ryan versus Perfect Zero. Oh my, Zero did defeat his previous opponent, made it all the way to the qualifying match. Meanwhile, we do have Maples versus Dolan, a bit of a PvT. Reaper versus Orisius, a ZVT. Oh, that looks juicy. I want that, maybe. And then, of course, our series of PvP, Jenasin versus Rhizer. My god, massive shout out to Reaper, by the way. Taking down Foxer 2-1 is a pretty massive win for him. Jesus. And here we go. We are now in game number 4 and spawning in the top right hand corner of Oxide LE. We have the American Protoss player. He is purple, representing team License to Kill. Currently up in the series, just needs uno más. Un momento is all he needs. It is Rhizer. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Oxide, we have our Canadian Protoss. He is green, representing Psy Storm Gaming. It is Jenasin. Again, Rhizer just needs one more. Meanwhile, Jenasin needs one more to take it to the ace match. Oh boy, can he do it? I think he can, but again, PvP can be very difficult, as you can imagine. Oh god, like scouting your opponents and knowing what they're up to is so important in this matchup. I think more so than others, like just because of how much you can do with so little. There's so many different tech parts as well that you need to keep an eye on. Oh boy. We'll see how this goes, as Jenasin does go for a much faster gas here in his main, prioritizing that a little bit more. Rhizer delaying his own, which is very interesting. We were talking about this earlier when I was casting with mLty. On Oxide, this is a lot more common. Low ground wall. Jenasin playing a lot more conservative, a lot more safe. I don't know if I want to say standard. I feel like what Rhizer is doing is the more standard thing, specifically on Oxide, where Jenasin, he's going for the typical gateway on the ramp expand, right? Or opener, I should say. We see this a lot on all the other maps, but because Oxide, your natural has a high ground wall, has a ramp leading up to the natural, it's easier to defend, and because of that, it's easier to expand and take a faster base. Ooh, Ooh, and Jenasin is looking to try and punish that base. Punish that green. But Rhizer's checking. He's scouting. Oh my god, but he's not going to see it. He's checking the regular location, the regular proxy location, which is here right on the right-hand side of the map. And he will miss the proxy pylon and the proxy gateway. Oh my god. So Rhizer is getting away with a faster base, but he may be losing quite a number of workers if he's not too careful. As Rhizer is checking the other side of the map as well for any kind of proxy, which there is a proxy, but unfortunately he is unawares. We do have Rhizer going across the map with this adept, but it looks like, yep, the wall is a wall. Jenasin is on top of his probe micro, is able to keep that adept at bay. Ooh, meanwhile, Rhizer also opening up with a Stargate opening. Of course, the Stargate is at home. It is going to get scattered. Oh my god, that's a full wall off. Oh my god. I was not expecting that at all. Jesus. Well, at least Jenasin scouts with his own adepts. He confirms that there are oracles on the way. And interesting choice, Jenasin. He's proxying. He's going for the shield batteries. He's going... what is this, a PvT, Kappa? Void Rays and shield batteries are coming out here for Jenasin. So we see this quite often in Korean PvP, except the proxy is here in the middle of the map, out behind these rocks, and then the shield batteries are in place to lay siege upon the natural base. Meanwhile, these shield batteries are in place to siege the main, kind of. This is a really awkward position. Oh my god. But Rhizer is well aware that something is up. Why is he aware? Because with his oracle, he scouts and he sees nothing at home. He sees no tech, he sees only one pylon, and he also confirms that there is no natural. So that's why he's throwing down more shield batteries. He's focusing on his defense. He has a Void Ray on the way as well, and it comes out just in time to face those of Jenasin. There we go, the Void Rays finally reveal themselves. Now Rhizer is aware of what his opponent has been doing this entire time. Oh, it looks like one pylon may get picked off. No, never mind. So far, Rhizer holds on. Oh, almost loses his own Void Ray. Almost. And this is gonna be an interesting game. Oh my god. So we have a couple of shield batteries on the way on the high ground as well. So the problem with this siege location is that, again, typically this location is outside the natural. And because of that, you threaten the production, you threaten the cyber core, you threaten the Stargate. Here in the main, it's a little bit awkward just because, sure, I guess he's chipping away at the main base, I guess. But there's all this dead space. So you have to commit and overextend so much more with your Void Rays. The risk of losing them is so much higher. So I'm not really sold on this position. We'll see how it works out. Again, it feels like if he ever decides to try and poke into the main, into this Nexus, like Rhizer can just pounce on his army and maybe even snipe a Void Ray. And Jenasin realizes that things aren't really gonna go his way here, so he actually expands. He takes his natural. Ooh, so he's gonna try and transition out of this. He's still getting shield batteries outside the natural though, like he's still looking to contain his opponent. We'll see how this works out for him. This is scary. This is terrifying. Oh boy, oh boy. Meanwhile, we have another second Stargate on the way for Rhizer. Oh my god, he's doubling down, double Void Ray production. Jesus Christ. He's going to be able to push out here. Ooh, the army of Jenasin completely out of position. This pylon will be going down. But at the same time, he just dives on the shield battery. Sorry, on the Stargate of Rhizer. We do have a shield battery overcharged, but it does get depowered. Pylon does get focused down. But I don't know how I feel about this. We do see Void Ray on Void Ray action, but Jenasin has the additional power of these shield batteries behind his army. A bit of an Artosis pylon there powering everything. Meanwhile, the Stargate is being focused down. It's just barely being kept alive by the shield battery, but it looks like it's not going to be enough. And it looks like the Stargate does fall. And now Jenasin has a clear pathway into the main base, into the bases of Rhizer. Rhizer forced to pull the boys. Is it going to be enough as Rhizer loses every single Void Ray? I thought Jenasin was backing off. I thought he was trying to transition out of this, but no, in the end, he pulls the trigger. And with this, he has broken through the natural. He's breaking through. He's going to be able to take down the Cybercore. That means no more Stalkers, no more Adepts here for Rhizer. The only thing he can warp in are Zealots, and that's going to do nothing against these Void Rays. He's trying desperately to remake that Cybercore. At least he did have a second Stargate in his main. He rebuilt the first one that he lost, so Void Rays are on the way, but he needs a little bit more time. Oh, and he's just not getting it. Rhizer once again pushing up the ramp. The boys are being pulled, but I feel like they're being pulled a little bit too late. The Void Ray of Rhizer already fell, and Jenasin, he's doing it. Oh god, he's breaking through. Or is he? The Void Rays have finally come out, and I just realized that Jenasin, like, his Void Ray production slipped. He's now remaking the ones that he lost, but he doesn't have them. Oh my god, Rhizer, he's breaking through. What's important is that Rhizer, he's losing a lot of probes, but he can afford to lose them. Another Artosis pylon. Every single shield battery gets depowered. Oh my god. Meanwhile, we have a starter stepping forward. Jenasin snipes the final Void Ray of Rhizer, but he continues to pump them out. The other thing that I just noticed, oh my god, Rhizer is only working off of one gateway. The gateways at his natural were taken out, so he barely has any production. Ay. This is so close. We have another pylon on the way here. Then we go to repower all these shield batteries. If this gets back up and running, then Jenasin once again has a foothold outside the base of Rhizer. Rhizer can't let this happen. But what's he gonna do? He can't stop it. Oh god. There are too many Stalkers here for Rhizer. Sorry, for Jenasin. My apologies. Meanwhile, the Oracle is being sent home again. I mean, it can wreak havoc here in the natural. Nothing shoots up. Could even force a warp in that home. Meanwhile, Jenasin, he gets up the ramp once again. Depowers another shield battery. Takes out another Void Ray. And oh god. How is Rhizer holding, by the way? I'm so surprised every time he's able to push him back. Just a little bit. Meanwhile, there we go. We did have that warp in of Stalkers at home to defend against the Oracle. At least that does give Rhizer a little bit of breathing room. As finally he gets another gateway up and running. Not just a gateway, we have a Dark Shrine. I love this. Jenasin doesn't have a Robo. He doesn't have an Oracle. He doesn't have detection whatsoever. A single DT can swing the battle in favor of Rhizer. Jesus Christ. He just needs to survive. He needs to live. He just needs to live, people. We have some proxy pylons out of the map as well, so the DTs can hit the main base instead. Obviously, DTs can be used defensively or offensively. Ay. And Jenasin is giving a lot of time to Rhizer. Earlier he was, being very confident, pushing up the ramp, taking out a Void Ray, taking out the shield battery. But because Rhizer's Void Ray count has been getting higher and higher, like, he's holding. He's breaking through. You could argue he doesn't even need the DTs. But the DTs are on the way. Dark Shrine finally finishes up here. Show me the DTs. There we go. Being warped in across the map. What do we have at home? Still no Robo. Still no Oracle. At the same time, Rhizer breaks free from his natural base. There's no way for Jenasin to really contain this any longer. And what are his defenses looking at home? Oh no. The DT, it's going into the main. I don't know if the main is the best choice here. But regardless, he does come in, is one-shotting all these workers. Ay. We have a third on the way. I thought Rhizer was just going to send that across the map, and GG gets called. That's it. Oh my god. I thought maybe Jenasin was going to try and chrono out an Oracle, try and get some cannons up, but it's not there. It's not there in time. Rhizer takes the entire series 3-1. Wow. GG, well played. Congratulations, Rhizer, on winning, on taking the series, and for qualifying for the closed qualifier for DreamHack North America. GG, well played. Congratulations, Rhizer. Game 1 was a little bit rocky. Hold on. Game 1 was a little bit rocky, not going to lie. Especially for Rhizer, Jenasin was able to come out strong there, but unfortunately, that was all he was able to do there. Congratulations, Rhizer, for taking the entire series in a very entertaining fashion. You know, we saw some proxies, we saw some DTs, we saw some solid disruptor play as well, or some solid blink micro, I should say. And yeah, congratulations, Rhizer. Well deserved. We will be seeing him this weekend in the closed qualifiers. Meanwhile, I did notice Naughty Elves in the chat. Good news, Ryan and Dolan will also be playing a qualifying match. With a bit of luck, we can have 3 Protosses through today, and the closed qualifier will look like the main tournament. No! Oh god, feels bad, man. So what he's talking about is that we have a lot of Protosses in North America in DreamHack, and not so much when it comes to Terrans and Zergs. When it comes to Terran, I feel like our main ones are Future and Vindicta, and I guess Pure Legacy as our top 3. And that's kind of what we have for Terran. When it comes to Zerg, Scarlet? We don't have that many Zergs either. It's a little bit unfortunate. Silky was the best Zerg player in all of America for a very long time, and he's a very good player. But unfortunately, Silky did step away from the game this year in 2021. Feels bad, man. I was a massive Silky fan. And because of that, we don't have a lot of Zerg representation in this region. Other than Scarlet, of course. I guess in the main event, I was just quickly checking. Sorry, in the closed qualifier, we have Jon Snow and Antis. I guess they're going to do their best. But this is a very Protoss-dominated region. Oh boy. Speaking of Protoss, by the way, Rhizer, he's going to be joining them, and we have another series. I thought that Rhizer versus Jenasin was going to be our final series that we cast today, but I was wrong. We have another.